To save salmon, we need healthy forests. That's why we're planting thousands of trees throughout Lake Sammamish State Park along Issaquah Creek.
This project is going to help bring Issaquah Creek back to be the kind of salmon stream it always had been and always should be.
Puget Sound Chinook were listed as threatened under the Endangered Species Act in 1999. The different agencies were looking up and down the Puget Sound. What can we do to improve conditions for wild native fish? One of the areas was here at Lake Sammamish State Park. The park includes 10% of all of Issaquah Creek. There are over 3 million salmon that are running through the park every year.
A healthy watershed is really critical to the health of our wildlife, salmon, but also to our human communities. So the more we can do to make sure that we're restoring and maintaining healthy conditions in our watersheds, the more that's going to create a healthy system for all of us.
The Snoqualmie tribe has inhabited and stewarded areas, including Lake Sammamish State Park, for time immemorial. For the Snoqualmie tribe, there is a special cultural importance of salmon. The prospect of losing salmon is something that everyone should be very concerned about.
We have approximately 2.1 million visitations at Lake Sammamish State Park every year. You can find the place completely populated with bird watchers, dog walkers, kayakers. You know, kids just want to spend some time in the water or on the beach. But when you're here and when you're walking on some of the trails and you're going out in the water, you still have that connection with nature that I think is such an essential part of all of our lives. The waterway is sort of like its own little highway that many animals can use to get in and out of the park. So a healthy creek promotes that biodiversity.
I want to make sure that folks kind of have a sense of what's happening where.
Greenway Trust has played a really important role in this process. From the early days of working with state parks to develop a conceptual restoration plan, to working to implement that plan piece by piece by piece, bringing together the various agencies, partners, the funding that's been needed to do this work. We've been working off that concept plan for over 20 years. When we started this project, there was 100 acres of blackberry here in the park. Non-native, weedy blackberry that wasn't providing a lot of habitat value for fish and other wildlife. We now have 50 acres under restoration just along Issaquah Creek. And a lot of the work we've done has been planting thousands and thousands of trees as part of creating those habitat structures so the leaf litter is there, the bugs are falling off, and all the rest. Also critically important to the habitat here. Watching the forest grow around here has been one of the most rewarding things I can imagine.
We are trying to do this work in the most populated watershed in Washington State. There's been a lot of urban development that has limited and reduced habitat for salmon.
Every single fish that is going to head upstream has to pass here before it gets to its spawning ground. Any fish coming downstream to head out to the ocean is going to pass through this park. If we can enhance and restore the habitat conditions here, it touches every single fish.
We have two primary species of salmon that use this creek, the Chinook salmon or the king salmon, but we also have coho salmon or the silver salmon. There are a lot of challenges that salmon face in the watershed, especially such an urbanized watershed that's affected habitat and it's degrading water quality. So when they get out of the creek and they're coming into the lake system, they're going to be faced immediately with pressure from invasive predatory fish like yellow perch and smallmouth bass in some cases as well. And we know that those invasive predatory fish populations are having a pretty significant impact on juvenile populations. We also know that climate change is contributing to warmer lake temperatures and lower dissolved oxygen. So fish need oxygen in the water to breathe. Salmon are a cold water fish, so they need cooler water to migrate and to kind of function. And when the lake itself is warming, you get this squeeze between available oxygen and the temperature that they need to survive. And so increasingly they're put in this tiny kind of band of water within the water column of the lake where they're really susceptible to predation. So we're looking at how can you take actions to reduce the impact of predation when juveniles are out migrating so that hopefully more of them can get through the lake.
There's a lot of work to be done to restore these lands after all the degradation that's happened over the last 150 years.
What we want to do is do the best we can to restore the ecosystem functions of the stream system. We cleared a lot of the wood out of these systems. Our creeks and rivers are devoid of much of the wood that they would naturally have. The wood is really important to the complexity and the health of a stream.
There are very few pools or riffles, all the complexity and habitat conditions that are so important for fish. Those were missing. We talk about wood providing opportunities for the fish to hide, to rest, recover. That was just not present in this system. There was less than 30 pieces of wood, and there should be over 1,100. When we talk about a home that has only hallways, there's no rooms in it, these fish are forced down the creek really fast, like there's nowhere else to go. This project has a few really important elements. Putting about 500 large pieces of wood in the stream to increase habitat complexity. Increasing and connecting floodplain that increases and improves fish habitat. And then planting over 5,000 native trees and shrubs along Issaquah Creek.
When we came, it was a summer day. We got to see the heavy machinery operating. When you see those logs in the water, let me tell you that underneath those are like boulders and chains, and they've all been put together in a very careful and scientific way to make for the best possible habitat for these salmon to give them a fighting chance.
What you're seeing right in front of us here, these white sacks filled with stream sediments, gravels and the like, are all about separating the project area from the creek itself. And so they go ahead and create this fish exclusion area. The creek water is still in there initially. We have to go and start pumping all of that out. Pumps have screens on them so that fish can't get out. We then start netting all of the fish. Biologists come in and support the work to remove all the fish. And once that exclusion is there and the fish are all gone, we can go ahead and use the pumps to continue keeping the water out while the wood is placed in here. The oxbow out here was created back in the 1990s. There was a flood. Issaquah Creek has downcut. It's much, much lower than it used to be. What we're trying to really do is reestablish more of a floodplain and reconnect that oxbow so that it provides this off-channel habitat for fish and wildlife. This is a really important part of this project. Large wood structures are going to be built up here so that during really high winter flows, some of that excess water can channel over and create into these backwater areas in the old oxbow here.
The real big focus was trying to get as much wood as we could into the system itself so that it would function through a variety of design flows and provide different habitat functions for specific fish species and life stages. This feature was designed with voids on purpose that we have filled with slash currently, but there's all kinds of locations where we expect little juvenile fish to hang out and be safe from predation as part of it and be able to grow stronger as they migrate up and downstream. Throughout this whole stretch of Issaquah Creek, we have features that we wanted to remain stable over a certain amount of time, and then we wanted to design features that could move as the creek moved and were more mobilized.
I'm absolutely excited. Lovely day to go plant trees. We've been implementing the plan to restore Issaquah Creek for over 20 years. In a matter of months, we've given the creek what it needs to restore itself.
Was it worth it? You bet. Within 2 days of finishing this project, salmon were returning up Issaquah Creek back to the fish hatchery in town. Next spring, some 3 million baby salmon are going to start their journey back to the sea through this project.
Salmon are incredibly resilient. If you take small little incremental efforts, salmon respond. Salmon recovery is more than just about the fish. It's also about making sure that our human communities are more sustainable.
And getting to be able to walk away from something that I'm leaving in a better spot for my kids is incredibly fulfilling.
Being able to partner with groups like Sound Greenway Trust, Washington State Parks, and many, many other partners is really critical.
The work that has been done is really amazing, and we are eternally grateful for our partnership and look forward to a long-standing partnership with the Mountains to Sound Greenway Trust.
It's going to take all of us to bring the salmon populations back. Every habitat that we restore makes our relationship to nature stronger.
The seedlings you planted today will take root and grow into the forests of tomorrow. And each of you is now connected to this place as a community of stewards.
And that gives me hope that future generations will continue to do this really important work.